What's the deal with haircuts?
Haircuts are the most relaxing thing to me ever, despite being such a stressful experience for many others. It's the true crime to my white girl. If I became a billionaire, I'd have a barber come in every single day and cut my hair. Even if I went bald, he would come over and have to treat me like a toddler and cut my imaginary hair and feed me plastic food. There's something so calming to me about the barbershop experience. A television that never works, hair all over the floor like it's a woman's bathroom, and that sound. Ladies, that's my vibrator. There are certain steps to get a haircut. This is no simple procedure. You must treat it like it's a major surgery. First is prep work. You must do endless research to find the perfect haircut by looking up supermodels. Yeah, I think I'll get the Henry Cavill haircut. Maybe then I'll be attractive. Maybe it works like Superman's glasses. After minutes of arduous research, you just give up and then go back to the original. When you arrive at the barber shop, the first thing you must do is keep track of everyone who arrived before you. You could try to look at the clipboard, but the last person who signed in was you last time you were there. Like elementary school, the most important rule is no cutting. They kept having assemblies for it, acting like it was a matter of life and death. Now, you can give up your spot to another sucker if the bad barber's chair is free, and you can tell who the bad barber is by looking at the haircut they just gave. But when it is your turn, they put on your cape and ask you what you want. The problem is, I'm indecisive, and it would help me out a lot if they put out like a McDonald's board with a bunch of haircuts and numbers. Yeah, let me get the number 7.
Would you like a beard trim with that?
No. Then they will proceed to ignore whatever stupid thing you just said and cut your hair way too short, but not like that matters. The process of getting ugly is so relaxing. The feeling of hair falling off your head, the sound of scissors, and the hair in your mouth, but you have to treat it like a one-night stand. You gotta wait till they turn around before you spit it out quickly. During this time, they'll usually make small talk with you, which is good for me because my favorite thing in the world is lying. Most of the time, I just come up with an abhorrently obvious lie that they're not allowed to be skeptical of because their tip is on the line. Yes, I am 5-time Grammy winner Drake. Sweet. Can you sing one of your songs then? I be partying, having sex and money. I'm from Canada. Damn. You really are him. Unfortunately, when I do this and come back, I have to remember the previous lie that I've told. Otherwise, I'm stuck being the person with multiple personality disorder. But with my mom cutting my hair most of the time, it gets a little difficult lying about my success. At the end, they'll show you a mirror and say, "Is everything good?" And like when your friend gets back with their ex, you have to pretend that you haven't been trash-talking them in your head this whole time. Sometimes, it does look good though, but you gotta remember, barbershop mirrors are a lot like circus mirrors. You may think that you look good, and then you walk back to your car, look at your review mirror. Now, I move a lot, so I've gone through a multitude of barbershops. I clip around. So, it's important to talk about the different kinds of barbershops. When I was a kid, we weren't well off enough to get haircuts, so we just got them all at home. And my dad he shaved me bald every time. I showed up to school looking like I decided to become a monk. You stick an arrow in my head and people will start thinking I'm the Avatar. I have removed myself from all earthly desires and attachments, Miss Johnson. I no longer require nap time. The next step up are barbershops on military bases, simply called barbershop. They used to do this amazing deal that for $8 you could get the same haircut as everyone else. High and tight, 2 on top, skin on the side. These shops are so bad that I like to think that they send soldiers there to build up their resistance to torture. They would just be stabbing you in the head with clippers over and over again, and if you ever used clippers, you would know how impressive that is. They're so aggressive too. There's no, "Okay, now please look down." It was like being in a Jurassic Park movie. If you don't move, you might survive. One half step above that is Great Clips. Have you ever seen a man walk out of Great Clips happy? Everyone walks out of there doing the walk of shame for men, holding their hair in one hand, looking to see if anybody's around before quickly rushing to get into their car. One time I went into Great Clips and they didn't even ask me what I wanted. They just started cutting my hair and take me out to dinner first. The worst part is, it felt like death by 1,000 cuts, which you only realize when they start rubbing alcohol on you afterwards. It's like a criminal bragging about their crimes to you in prison and you can't do anything but not cry. Next are base level barber shops, which are separated by race. White people have sports clips or anything to do with a white sport, such as hockey or tax evasion. These will always look nicer because they care more about outside appearance than the actual haircuts. The workers are always super nice, but they speak in an almost ASMR voice, which would be nice if the conversation didn't dictate if somebody was gonna swipe left on me or not. 90% of the time, I can't hear a word they're saying, so I just go, yeah. Anyways, that's how I ended up with a mohawk in 6th grade. There are also more expensive versions where they give you alcohol and then try to sell you a $100 hair gel, but I assume it's like a country club because I've never got an invite. Black barber shops are my favorite, not because of the haircut, because they always get it wrong. Asian hair, but because of the experience. I've never gone home without a story. A while back, I went to get a haircut and there were cops outside with their sirens on. How odd. Usually when they do a stakeout, they keep the sirens off. When I went inside, Stephanie, my hairdresser, said that a man who was clearly crazy came in and asked to have his eyebrows waxed off. So, afraid to turn him down, she did it. But afterwards, he was visibly unhappy. Don't know how she could tell that. He had no eyebrows. Maybe he drew some on. So he started breaking stuff and waving a knife around until eventually the police took him away. Luckily, the police just happened to be nearby. Also, she called me Ching Chong one time. That was odd, but you know where it wouldn't be odd? Asian barber shops. If you ever want to go to an Asian barber shop, you can find one around any Walmart. Here, they'll be talking mad shit about you the whole time in a different language, but when they speak to you, they'll say, "Oh, you so handsome, you so nice." Me personally, I go here for the ego boost as long as my Google Translate is broken. Still, these are typically the best for me because I get the family discount. For 2 years in college, I had the same barber, a 70-year-old Vietnamese grandmother who desperately wanted me to marry her granddaughter. She wanted me because at that time, I was in school to become a doctor, so I'm pretty sure that offer doesn't stand anymore. I was also 16 at the time, and her granddaughter was 21. Man, grandparent barbers just don't groom like they used to, otherwise I'd be a groom right now. Asian barbershops are always insisting on washing your hair, face, and putting a hot towel on your face. It's like a massage parlor for men, which is good news because that means I don't even have to go next door to get a happy ending. I've only ever been to one Hispanic barbershop, which was amazing. I walked in, got a great haircut, and left. Boring! In conclusion, clearly, I haven't got a haircut in months because I'm broke, but I like to think of it as I'm edging the cut.
Hello, Outro Lunar here. Click here to check out the recommended video, click here to check out the most recent video, and click here to check out my Twitch where I stream every weekend. Okay, goodbye.